It says going live. I can never tell if we're actually live. We are. Okay, cool.
Now we are live. Look, we got a lot of people already
hanging
out with us in the chat. What's good, everybody?
Thank you. Shouts to whoever said they're waiting for me after the show. Should I be scared, dude?
Is somebody at the outside the stand right now?
Oh, I hope you can shoot through Chritian. No, I probably shouldn't say that.
Don't say that.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, we should be sensitive to what's happening here.
Yes, everybody. What's good? Hello. Welcome to the show. Yes, we are live. We are here at the stand. And yes, obviously, if you are watching the news or have seen the news this morning in Brooklyn, New York, it's been a pretty scary
Very scary.
Pretty scary morning.
We can luckily look. There's a lot of people who've been checking in on us, family, friends, Cooligans fans, Gully Squad members. Some of you guys have hit us up both personally on our, in our group chat. In our Slack, on the Cooligans account. Luckily, we're both safe. Everyone we know is safe. Everyone out there, please stay safe. You never know what's going on. I mean, what sucks is New York City is the type of city where a dude walks on the subway wearing construction gear and a gas mask, and no one even blinks twice.
Right. It's just like, oh, he's another little goofy,
here we
weird
go
hipster or something.
Yeah. Or, oh, great, this guy's going to ask me for money for his gas chamber basketball team. You know what I mean?
Right. So, thank you for a lot of people sent a lot of messages. We taped a pre-show for our Patreon members, kind of going into a little bit more detail. But Alexis lives in Brooklyn. I'm from Sunset Park, Brooklyn. I have a lot of family that lives around that train station that uses that stop every day. My parents are just a couple blocks away from there. It was a scary morning, checking in on everybody, making sure everybody was all right. And luckily everyone is, but it doesn't take away from how tragic this is. It's tough to see something like that where I grew up in a train station that I used every day, going to school, spending a lot of time around there. I have so many family members that live literally right on 36th Street. So it was a tough morning, to say the least.
Right.
So, but I'm
Especially
glad.
now that you're all highfalutin, living in the burbs, away from everybody, right?
Yeah, and nothing bad has ever happened in the suburbs.
No,
you know
you're
how
like,
it is.
none of the news gets to my penthouse. It's too high.
So, but the show must go on. This isn't the first time we've done shows in the middle of just terrible things happening. It happens all the time. Sadly we've gotten too used to this. But
for those of you who are members of the Patreon and are gonna watch that video, because it will be uploaded to the Patreon pretty soon, just know it starts off very somber and then it gets really silly.
Right. Which is that
because it's both of us. We're both here.
It's the brand that is the Cooligans. I would say there's a balance, but I don't really know about that.
I mean, it's off balance.
Bro, I mean, Alexis.
It's like remember when Fox News said they were fair and balanced, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that's about as balanced as we are."
Alexis tips the scale in more ways than one.
Wow. And Christian's so cheap, he don't tip at all. So when you put the two together, throw me under a bus, dude. Wow.
So yeah, man, we're happy to be here, happy to be safe. We are we're at the Stand Comedy Club.
That's right.
It is. We're in the middle of Manhattan, which feels it's a little emptier than usual.
But normally there'd be not as funny comedians on stage.
Okay.
Usually one at a time. No computers allowed.
Right.
There'd be audience members, which we don't
this is
have
the
right
future
now.
of stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
Just sitting at your computer.
People are like, are those two DJs up there? Because this is all you need to be a DJ now.
I'm just, you watch me tweet.
Oh! I'm wearing a marshmallow helmet as I tweet. For those of you who don't know, I see some people in the chat who don't know what happened. Earlier today, there was I guess we would call it a mass shooting on a subway train deep in Brooklyn in a neighborhood called Sunset Park, where Christian was born and raised, and a lot of his family still live, very close to where his family still live. Gentleman in construction vest and gas mask took out smoke bombs on the train as it got to the stop, and then just started shooting. And hopefully, he was hoping the smoke would stop people from being able to get off the train. A couple people were shot. Looks like 5 people were shot. 13 people in total were injured. They're all at hospitals. As we know, as of what we know right now, no one has passed away. So hopefully that stays that way. And it absolutely sucked. What happened? and hopefully they catch this guy. There's a bit of a manhunt, so it took a lot to get here today. There's a bit of a manhunt going for him. You could hear helicopters and stuff in Brooklyn. So hopefully they catch him. So let's get that out of the way. Let's talk about soccer. It absolutely sucks, but luckily everyone we know is fine, and that's the most important thing right now is that everyone we know is fine, and hopefully everyone involved remains fine, except for that one dude who was involved.
Right.
Who's 5'5", by the way. I don't know if you saw the news.
All right. So I'm gonna stop calling them short kings.
Right.
And that's it. You've
Little
lost. You've lost.
Napoleon.
This guy has ruined it for all of y'all,
bro.
No, man. Yeah. Look, we're obviously gonna continue doing what we do. We're gonna try to have as much fun as possible. I just, it would be ridiculous and impossible to start a show without addressing the obvious thing that's on everyone's mind.
Yeah, of course. Imagine we just didn't talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, what?
I told Christian we can't do that, dude.
Even though I was adamant about,
he's like, we will not bring this up.
Because you know how stone cold with my emotions I am.
I mean, the two of us are much closer to statures than we are humans. But dude, if there's one thing you and I've learned about each other over the past 7 years, it's that.
Okay. Colabanca says sending good vibes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Paulina
said, no, not one of us shorties. Hey, shorty. I was gonna go watch the movie called Ambulance, but no, y'all got to go live on me.
I don't know
got me jonesing for some gully stage news.
What's the movie called Ambulance?
I never heard of Ambulance. Wait, isn't that the one where like the ambulance is like evil? Isn't it one of those crazy old movies?
I don't know.
Wasn't there one where like the car itself, like the actual ambulance was evil? Wasn't that like one of those crazy campy ass old movies?
Evil Knight Rider type of like thing?
Yeah.
Without clever.
Fast and the Furious for everyone else.
Okay, so look, there's obviously a lot to talk about today, but let's get started.
That's right. Also, shouts to the Tens Club for the beautiful hoodie.
All right, yeah. I was actually meaning to get. I think they ran out of my size.
They did. Believe it or not, very thin. It's like a lightweight, almost like a spring hoodie. It's Champion, and typically Champions are very thick. You know what I mean? Typically, Champions are a little more Alexis. This one was a lot of Christian. You know what I mean?
Got it.
This is like one step above those T-shirt hoodies. Remember them joints? T-shirts with the hood on it?
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, those.
You had one of those, didn't you?
I've never had that.
No, you didn't. You wore a blazer over it. I can almost guarantee it. I can feel it in my bones, dog.
I don't know what you think.
Had one of these.
What you think I looked like in high school?
No, I mean high school. What are you, 28, dude? That fashion was 10 years ago.
I want to give a shout out also to Forward Madison,
Beautiful.
who sent us these kits.
What's it say in the yellow? It's actually Ukrainian, so we can't read it.
Oh, I don't know. I actually didn't notice that there was any lettering in there.
You don't look at the details. You don't care.
But no, I mean, if you can't really see, it says United for Ukraine.
Beautiful.
On there. And I believe you can pre-order this now,
right.
and all the money will go to either to UNICEF to help people in Ukraine. So
and also to help people who fled Ukraine.
Correct.
That's a big part of what
Got it.
that money's going for. So, shouts to Forward Madison. Thank you very much for the kits. I have one as well. It's a little tight, so I didn't wear it. It makes me feel like a sausage, but I'm here to support. So, thank you very much. Messi still wears those T-shirt hoodies. He says, Ryan, he 100% does, but he paid 895 pounds for it, or euros. So that's pretty good. I always shout out Alexis' Arsenal gear. So big up today for Christian's Ukraine shirt. Shouts to you, Joe Whitlock. What's Ukraine for? Yo, that's Gully. I don't know. We should probably look that up.
We should probably look that up. It's actually interesting because the obviously it's another tragic thing to see the news all the time with everything going on in Ukraine. It feels very like we feel helpless. Like there's nothing like we can do. Like it's just such a strange.
I was watching the news yesterday and they were like, "Oh, Russia got a new general. He's calling the troops over here, and they're going to do this." And I'm like, if we know all of this, why can't we stop this, bro?
It's really bad. It feels like it's entertainment rather than like an actual tragedy because nothing's being done, essentially, or they can't be offered help because they don't want to start this larger war. So whatever, that's a other like larger conversation. But my fiance's family, to my knowledge, they have always just said, "Oh, they are Russian." That's always been their thing. But they were Russian as much as they fled the Soviet Union from Ukraine when
Right.
it was technically sort of
Like
Russia
if
or whatever.
if we were to leave New York to go to Europe today, right? We
Yeah.
move to Europe, and then New York secedes from the United States and becomes New Amsterdam. We'd be New Amsterdamese,
Yeah.
but we would still be telling people we're American because we left America.
Exactly. And so
Which is why pizza's better here than in Italy, because when people left Naples to come here, they actually left the unification of Italy. They didn't want to be a part of Italy, you feel me?
wow, they were like, you don't deserve this pizza.
But now their great grandkids don't speak a word of Italian, but they tell everyone they're Italian. And then one of them married me. Hey, shouts to Dee on her birthday.
yeah,
Huh?
happy birthday, D.
Thank you for everyone who sent beautiful messages. I got some nice messages from Cooligans fans saying, tell Dee I love her. Tell Dee I love the Donnas. I love the podcast. I'm like, look at you guys, huh?
Wow.
Hitting the download button twice. Thank you very much.
But it's odd that people are sending messages to you tell your wife I love her. You know what I mean?
Like some of them I'm relaying. Some of them I'm like, you getting blocked, my G.
You're going a little too much. I don't know the context of why.
Wow.
But I was saying that a lot of my fiance's family is from Kiev, so it's tough for them
Right.
as well to see this stuff.
And little known fact, they all work for Putin, right? No, I'm kidding.
This is why this is how this show works. You can't sit in a real moment too long before
No!
Alexis is like.
People logged on to watch to listen
Right.
about soccer,
And but
here we are.
I just want to make it clear that whether it's on, whether the camera's on or real life,
No.
this is exactly how Alexis.
If you were talking to me alone in the back of a funeral, I'd be popping jokes. I don't have any other way of thinking. And my brain's like, let it out, because if not, it becomes a fart.
Interesting theory.
PFC Manor says a quarter. By the way, thank you for everyone who's putting happy birthday D in the chat. Thank you so much. PFC Manor says a quarter of my family has the same backstory from Kyiv. Guess some folks in the fam were high on Bolsheviks' target list when they took over. Yeah, a lot of people. My family, my wife's family, is partially Ukrainian.
Okay.
In fact, when her grandfather started going through dementia, he started speaking in full-blown Yiddish.
Yeah.
And people were like, hey, fam, how you know Yiddish? And he was like, what? No, what are you talking about? Totally been Christian this entire time. We didn't change our religion to escape Ukraine.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that, especially in New York, at least to my knowledge, like everyone who I thought was Russian escape Russia. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're here because
No, that's why they're here.
Russia.
That's
is
why
not-
when people started to abuse Russians during all of this, when this started,
Mm-hmm.
they were like, hey, whoa.
Hey, no.
We left for the same reason you're upset right now.
We also ain't homies with them either.
Right.
We speak their language, but that's it.
Pele canceled 2.0. Yeah, you guys remember everything. It is dangerous to have this fan base, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Let's talk about MLS.
Yes.
How you feeling about MLS?
MLS is starting off. Look, especially since CCL is going on at the same time.
I feel like my attention is split.
Yeah, there's just
When
like
people are like, how's MLS doing? I'm like, okay, we beat Pumas is doing well.
Right.
Seattle versus New York is going to be a big one.
it's like depending on what region of the country you ask that question in,
Right.
you'll get like very different answers. Because generally at least for us when NYCFC is playing. In the beginning of the season, there's usually a lot of like enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, a lot of hope. But obviously CCL is going on. The MLS season for NYCFC has not really started off very well. But the teams that, we talked about them last week, about like the teams that were undefeated, which were Philadelphia, LAFC, and Chicago. And Chicago lost, and so did LAFC. And Philly is the only one standing at the top of the hill right now, looking like, again, like Supporter Shield favorites again, like they might win it and not have to, hold a Captain America shield this time around. But I don't know. I'm just saying they look sharp.
They did have a photoshopped supporter shield, which is kind of weird.
It wasn't photoshopped. It looked photoshopped.
Yeah,
but
it was
it
not
was
real. It was like wrapped. It was
wrapped in. It was a Captain America shield wrapped in the supporter shield.
You couldn't have picked a nerdier object.
No, man, it was great. It was it will go down in history as one of the greatest supporter shield moments.
It's quite possibly one of the most MLS moments of all time.
100%. Yeah.
Premier League would not have done that.
Voluminous said, we avoided losing to you guys this weekend. Thanks, CCL. Oh, meaning also, I believe that's DC United because NYCFC was supposed to play DC United,
Right.
but that game got postponed.
We could use the W too. NYCFC is having a rough start to the season, but I think it's difficult. There's a little bit of a hangover from the championship, and you're also in CCL, so
right.
Not the easiest.
So, but we should start with probably the one of the bigger games of the weekend. It's not even Heineken rivalry week, and we got a huge game between Charlotte and Atlanta the first time they played, and we also had Tráfico, which we'll also discuss. But the Olímpico, Charlotte FC getting an Olímpico,
Bro.
what, 8 games into their inaugural season?
If you're a Charlotte FC fan, you have to be looking at these games and thinking, wait a minute, are we good? It was 2 months ago that the coach said we were screwed?
Right. And
now you're beating the team that you chose out of nowhere as your rival.
Yeah.
Remember the owner, or was it the general manager? Someone said F that city.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't remember that?
I don't know who said that. Was it the owner?
It was somebody associated with Charlotte said it became they have the shirts that say F that city. And I was like, who are they talking about? And apparently Atlanta.
What a strange.
You don't remember this?
I don't remember
Where
this.
were you?
I don't remember. I feel like I would have remembered someone, some high-ranking official saying that.
Atlanta lifted the banner. I don't know, the tifo that said it was what's his name? Arthur Blank had a shirt that said, "We're that city," or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if that came before or after, and maybe you guys could let us know. But someone said, Robin Sagini says, thank you, Alexis. Sorry. But someone said, F that city. They chose Atlanta as their rival.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Unprovoked.
They threw the first punch. Tepper. Robin Sagini said it was the owner that called us out in the announcement. So
that's what it was. They made shirts that said F that city. But then they show up with a squad that they claim isn't finished.
Yeah.
And they body you, dog.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising.
That 1-0 didn't even tell you how lopsided that game was.
And I think losing, Joseph Martinez is obviously injured. And
I mean, at this point.
Don't say what. What at this point? What?
Write him in for what? 10 games a
season? Put him down. Send him to a home upstate. He went out.
You're done. Some would say that's what MLS is. You're going to Miami FC, buddy. No, I mean, how can you depend on this guy for a full season?
Yes. I mean, he got injured in 2020? When did he get he got hurt in the first game of the season. It's his first ACL tear. He's still recovering. They're cleaning up something in his knee. He's going to be out for a couple months.
This is the worst top ever. Sorry. This coffee top stinks.
So I think losing your best player will affect you in some sort of way, and clearly it's affecting Atlanta. And the fact that they
how often at what point do you think Atlanta has to sit here and say we need to go out and get a striker that we can depend on? Maybe not a full replacement for Joseph Martinez.
They brought Cuckfield's finest
Dom Dwyer.
Dom Dwyer.
I love Dom. We love Dom.
We love Dom.
But this isn't necessarily.
We love Dom.
Buddy.
Hey, why are you attacking us?
Whoa. We said F that city, not F that Dom. Dom isn't a full season replacement right now in his career, right? He could be.
Okay.
He could be, but he's not necessarily I feel like they have to go out and get a young South American seems to be their style, but a young striker that can maybe learn under Joseph Martinez for 2 or 3 years that he has left.
He's not that old. Jesus Christ.
But I'm saying he's oft injured. You can't say he's not oft injured.
He has been injured for a long time, and last year he was not the same player, and he's clearly still recovering. And he's not 100%. He's not the same Joseph Martinez that we were used to.
Checks us at Get Alexis a sippy cup. Oh my God, with the 2 handles on the side, I love it. We got the New Mexican Ronaldo, hilarious. Wait, maybe not so hilarious. Atlanta ain't been the same since Almirón left. I think for a lot of reasons. I think the reason that Almirón leaving was that course hasn't been corrected is because the team hasn't necessarily been investing the same. BT didn't work out.
Yeah, well, those. So I wouldn't say that they haven't been investing the same.
The same, meaning they weren't going out and finding gems. They've been spending the same amount of money.
But you don't know it's a gem until you make, until they play a couple games.
You sound like a guy who's only has crypto in his.
What do you mean they haven't found gems? You can't.
I got a picture of an ape eating a slice of pizza. How am I supposed to know? I should have.
Why haven't Atlanta United signed Kevin De Bruyne, Joao Cancelo, and all these guys?
Okay, now you're bringing up good points.
You take a risk and hopefully that they fit into MLS. They brought in Luis Araujo, right? Who I think has been
who was my guy from the Mexican league on the right that made like the TikToks. He was the TikTok
Jurgen Damm. That did not work out.
Damn.
For what? It's so strange.
It was so funny. Remember when he came from Tigres and they were like or Club America.
Tigres.
Yeah, from Tigres, and their fans were like, "Hey, man, this dude can't cross for shit." And they tried to tell us like he's just fast.
No, but I would. The only thing he can do is cross.
No.
That's what he is good at. That is it. He can't really pass well.
If you remember, when he had the wagon, the Christmas gifts, the one that fell off was crosses because he was making fun of the team. He was making fun of the fans that were shitting on him.
All right. I think that's wrong because I've seen him enough to say that that's probably his best attribute. But people in the chat, let us know if who's correct here because I think that is his best skill.
Sate Tale actually makes a great point. He says Tata will be available soon. So bring him back. You just might. Three managers in 3 years will do that though, regardless of the squad.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. Everyone's got the reason Atlanta isn't good right now. Everyone's got a reason, and all these reasons are valid. Now, what does that tell you? There's a lot wrong. There's a lot going on.
I mean, look,
in ATL,
they made it to the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they lost to NYC FC.
Yup.
But
hit that like button if you like the playoffs.
Hit the like button if you like that. Atlanta United lost to NYC FC.
No. In fact, hit the like button if you don't like it, dude.
Okay, like we always say, we give you options on this show. Some of these other YouTube shows, they don't be giving you options. They be telling you what to do.
We give you two options. You can like it if you like it. Also, hit that like button if you don't like it, dude.
Okay. It's interesting. Our YouTube channel works a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So, look, some of the sign. I think Araujo and Thiago Almada will be successful signings. But like they mentioned. Yeah, switching out on all these managers. I mean, once De Boer got there, it just they haven't really recovered yet.
They haven't recovered. They've made a lot of changes, but they haven't recovered. And what you call it? I just want to point out what Michael Raymond said because sometimes real genius gets brought up in the chat. He said Alexis is always right.
Wow.
I want to take a moment of silence.
What an itch. I mean, feel free to be silent for the rest of the program if you like to.
Can't be wrong if I'm quiet, bro.
Go out on top.
You know what I mean? Check, please.
Del Boy, I love this. Oh, look, speaking of genius, Del Boy said Atlanta United got that post-nut calamity, which I've never heard it phrased that way.
Why does it sound like it was in a Hanna-Barbera cartoon?
Just an absolute. I mean, it feels like erotica a little bit, like
bro,
MLS erotica.
So there was a lady at the party. My wife threw herself a little party. Told me, hey. I was like, yo, you want me to get balloons? She's like, everything's done. I'm like, this is what I like. This is what I like about a relationship. You stopped by for a quick second.
I did.
You pieced in. You pieced out.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady who showed up who normally has like a very even-keeled energy, but she was very excited. She was like, hey, everybody. Oh, my God, what's going on over there? What's going on over there? And I was like, hey, yo, your friend seemed to have so much energy. She's like, and my wife was like, yeah, she got eaten out before the party. And I was like, hey. And she goes, wouldn't you be excited if you got your, sucked? And I was like, no, I'd be walking to the party like, hey, everybody, what's going on? Like,
it's
you mind if I just hang out in this seat without moving?
Sure. I mean, it sounds like a woman that did not have post-nut calamity. You know what I mean? She's still looking for that finishing touch.
But she definitely post-nut, but there was no calamity. She was just like, hey, everything's great. Guys are more like,
Okay, yeah, that's how you know you did it right. If that's
Bro,
the case, okay.
you get sleepy afterwards, right?
What? Don't get too personal, Alexis. You've been there. What are you talking about?
I know. I keep nudging you. Wake up, dude. I didn't do all that work for nothing.
Why are you asking me questions to things you already know? Anyway,
This show often turns left and right with a very hard yank of the wheel. And today's no different.
speaking of hard yanks,
Hey, post-nut energy. Alexis drops into post-nut ASMR. Bro, I go sleepy boy. If you ever see me and I just got no energy,
okay,
you know your boy just,
it's
whatever.
I think it's a post nut burger. That's what he had.
Ooh, love a good post-nut burger, dude. Post-nut slice? Talk to me.
Okay, look, this is how it is. You get used to it. I don't know what to tell you.
Someone recently said to us, they're like, yeah, I love the show, but I'm not as big a fan of when you guys interact with the chat. We wouldn't have had this conversation if it wasn't for that, buddy.
All right, this is it's a symbiotic organic/orgasmic relationship that we have with the chat. Okay.
Yo, Andrew Johnson said grape nut calamity. Nah, that's just a healthy breakfast, buddy. John Carl Tritt said sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Justin Friedberg said this show's dork getting borked real hard right now.
Yo, Paolo Nelson said post-nut buffet. What am I getting, crab legs? I'm getting crab legs. Mad relax.
Damn, when Alexis at the Golden Corral, you know he's happy.
Yo, my dude just got his dork borked.
Oh my God, Michael Raymond with Pele post nut. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
So, look, I think once Atlanta United sort out some of these injuries and their players return,
Pele-gasms.
Once I think some of their players return, I think they'll be fine. But I think it's the bigger issue is that they lost to Charlotte. Like, it's like an embarrassing loss in losing to the team that has now created this rivalry, whether you think it's authentic or not.
But then the question becomes, is Atlanta this bad? Did they get caught slipping? Or is Charlotte really this good?
It seems like
are we ready to make the call that Charlotte is good? And this is the other thing about MLS. The first 10 games of the season almost don't really matter. That's really the preseason because it's the run-up to the playoffs. And everyone says, yeah, but if you miss the playoffs by a point or two, you're going to wish you won in those first 10 games.
Wow.
Do you like my impression?
What a great just American soccer fan.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, he ended up underwater at the end of it. He got dunked back into the toilet for saying stupid shit. The point is, the first 10 games of the season are more of like, when boxers are throwing jabs to see how the other boxer is going to react.
Yeah.
Are we ready to call it that Charlotte is good?
I would say simply the fact that they
late premature ejaculation. I mean, you guys aren't even. There's no point to it.
They have they've won 3 games. How many? What the goal differential is -2. The fact that they got a clean sheet against Atlanta United, I think that's probably the most embarrassing thing. The goal from Odyssey Rod is an Olympico, which is like it's more just like to get no pun intended blanked when you're Atlanta United against an expansion team is not a good look, and it kind of suggests that there's something up with the players, the offense. So something's going on. Obviously, you give up one goal like that, and it's whether it's like it's 1 in a million kind of goals or whatever.
Would it feel bad if it wasn't the team that specifically unprovoked called you out and said our goal is to beat you? Is that what makes it feel worse?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I mean, I think that's what's caused.
Like if this happened against Cincinnati, you'd be like, "Damn."
Atlanta, look, they haven't had some awful seasons so far. They've won a couple games. They've lost games that they probably should have won, or drew games that they could have won as well. but the simply the fact that that this is like there's an emotional connection here. A lot of Atlanta United fans traveled to Charlotte. Some that are in the chat with us. Yeah, let us know. I think it's about like 3 hours if I'm not mistaken. It could be more, but I'm not sure.
Sheksa said, and this is Sheksa, who is this guy's handing stickers and flags to the players. So this guy's a big guy. Whatchamacallit? He said, no one in ATL cares about Charlotte. They have an inferiority complex because it's a whack little town.
Well, you know what? Sheksa, do we have your permission to play your video that you tweeted at us yesterday?
I think the Photoshop he made is better.
I got to show that.
What is that thing? That's their mascot?
Yeah, Minty. Sir Minty. That's his name. Let's acknowledge
this thing is
Sir
silly
Minty.
as hell.
Let me see if I can find it.
It's a 4-hour drive. ATL also came back from 2 goals down with 10 men against them like 2 weeks ago. I know, but to lose to them 1-0, it's a big one.
Yeah. So I think it's more of a bragging rights and ego and stuff. So this is I don't know if you saw Darren Eales the reveal of the Atlanta United mascot.
I did not.
Trainee McTrainface.
That's not real.
That's 100% real. Trainee McTrainface, which it's really just Darren Eales, who's the GM, right, or sporting director or something like that, or president, whatever he is. He's high up. He makes a lot of decisions. I think Bocanegra is the GM, but it was basically just wore like a Halloween costume of a train. In front of him, he basically looks like Thomas the Tank Engine in front of him, and the mascot name is Trainee McTrainface.
So in other words, it's not real.
It's not real. It's obviously a silly joke. So, but the train symbolism of Atlanta is obviously very present and
Darren
real.
Eales loves to involve himself in the bands.
He's a guy that we should have had on the show long ago. I've been wanting to get him on. Please,
he's a big Men in Blazers fan, so.
Oh, well, he's going to be a big Cooligans fan, okay?
Hey.
All right? Pele Postnot. He's going to be saying all the Cooligans.
If you see me with barbecue sauce on my cheek, you know what happened.
So
show the mascot thingy.
Okay, yeah. So here it is. All right, I think we're looking at it right now. So this is the math that's Sir Minty.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was this was what Sheksa made.
It's subtle. Is what it is.
So we're all seeing it there. It's Sir Minty. Instead of holding a train,
he's holding something that could help you
run a
train situation.
He's holding a big old.
You'd be like, Chooch!
He's holding a big old wang. Which is absolutely ridiculous, bro. This is
a golden one. I mean,
so funny and ridiculous. And this is
in the original photo, he was holding a train.
Yeah, which we saw. We just saw him a minute ago.
And what I love about this is Sir Minty is a big old school soccer ball with a creepy smiley face. And for some reason, ice.
He's wearing a gold chain, like a diamond chain that says M.
So the look of his face is kind of maniacal, holding a train, being like, I'm going to kill it. But it changes a little bit when you change said train to a big old golden dill. A thick-ass golden dill.
Veiny.
Bro, this thing only has one hole in it, and that's for the pump.
And then this is Sheksa celebrating, like chanting along with Sir Minty, and look, security's trying to keep Sheksa Brandon away from Sir Minty, but no, this is Sir Minty's if he's gonna walk through the Atlanta United supporters, you're gonna get a lot of love. I guess this is the funniest thing. This made me laugh so much.
This is like the cutest mascot though. It's also wearing like a boxers/pimps kind of robe, but it has no neck, so it just kind of goes around the circumference of the ball.
So you can hear it there. So Sheksa, thank you so much for sending that to us.
Just a Freebrick said, that's the biggest dork I've ever seen.
So damn
the
funny.
The real golden spike said Sheksa. Okay, now that makes sense.
Doughboy said Minty for her pleasure.
Extra minty. Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
How does that chain even stay on? Make the physics make sense. Well, homie got no neck.
A wild game. But there was only that one goal, the Olympico, which was pretty wild. I think Guzan said he maybe lost it in the sun, and
which is what I would say.
Stepped. he kind of took a weird step and missed the ball. But this good game could have been easily a draw or 0-0 draw. But the fact that Charlotte was able to keep a clean sheet, pretty impressive. That they defensively they looked okay this season. Even when they played their first home game against Galaxy, I think they only lost 1-0 if I'm not mistaken, or it wasn't too bad of a loss. So they look okay. Hopefully Atlanta sorts out everything they have to, because obviously they're fans. They have a huge fan base, and they demand a little bit better.
Let's just finish talking about Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the chat can help us out. Let's fix Atlanta United. What's one thing? I just noticed they didn't get any yellow cards either.
That's so strange. Yeah, but you feel like you would be upset. You're not winning.
Yeah. You ain't mush nobody, dog. Let's fix Atlanta United. What's one player that we have to replace? The squad looks pretty full.
I mean, they have 11 players, so it's a full squad. Yeah.
You get the point I'm trying to make here. You got a pretty good goalkeeper, regardless of what we said. They played a 3-4-2-1 in this match. You've got Gutman, Campbell, Franco, Robinson, Lennon kind of as your back five, right, when they're defending. You got Sejdik and Sosa. Everybody loves Sosa as your more defensive midfielders, probably a bit more attacking as well. Moreno and Almada, and then you've got Dom Dwyer up top. Is it really just not having Joseph Martinez?
I would say I think the couple.
Shexa said fire Carlos Bocanegra.
I think the biggest differences or what they haven't really replaced. What's his name? I think he's at LAFC now. Franco Escobar, right?
Yeah, Escobar.
Franco, yeah. He was the fullback, and I think that's probably been a player tough to replace. At least
replace Brad with Minty.
I think the heart, the energy, and excitement about playing for Atlanta United has kind of faded a little bit. Those first 2 years were something.
But the fan base is still there.
The fan base is still there, but the culture around the team, all the South American players, they just it seemed like they were just friends immediately. And then De Boer came in and was like, no smiles here.
We can't get along. We're a championship team.
And I think the new manager is still trying to kind of bring that back a little bit. So
Sate Tali just dropped a big one in here. He said, fix ATL by humbling their mostly toxic fan base.
Mostly toxic?
Sounds a bit extreme.
I mean, we could say that about every fan base.
We could just say that about fan bases.
It's like if you are.
But I mean, elaborate. What do you think makes ATL's fan base toxic? I won't even throw in mostly. Just what makes them toxic,
or what makes it
interested. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah. What makes it more toxic than any other fan base? Every fan base has, people get frustrated with losses or poor results. I would say there's a little bit of or at least how other fans of other teams perceive it is that Atlanta United fans feel a little bit entitled to success.
There is a little we won right away. We deserve to win every time.
Yeah, and
they are we are the Real Madrid of MLS kind of energy.
Okay,
and you ain't been that.
No, I wouldn't describe them as that either.
The point is, Real Madrid fans are well, if we're not in the conversation, something has gone terribly wrong. People need to be fired, and that's what you're getting there. He says entitlement. I get okay. A nice cold brew also says entitlement from early success. I get that as well. Del Boy said they need probably a number 10 playmaker and a proper striker. Royce and Draxler. Okay. Almost dropped the mic. That's how crazy that was. Shexa said they discounted the importance of Gressel's chemistry with Joseph. I think that's the big thing is that they ripped apart a team that even you brought up had great chemistry.
Right. And look, and we've spoken to Julian Gressel. He's been on the show twice, and this has been a thing where look, he
said, what'd you think of Frank DeBauer? And he said, fuck that guy.
Wow. You've been hanging out with Fabian too much.
So this podcast changed you, bro.
No, know, the look, we all know Julian didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay in Atlanta, but he also deserved to be paid more than he was getting paid. And
exactly.
Atlanta wasn't offering that, and they couldn't offer him that.
Sometimes you got to move to get that bag.
Right. So, but when you do that, you take the risk of destroying the culture that you've built of the team, and I think maybe this is what Charlotte is experiencing now. It's a new team, new city. Everything is new. It's nobody.
This is the honeymoon period,
right?
Right
Nobody is approaching anything with any big ego. They're here to.
Are you saying Atlanta has a post-nut calamity?
I mean, look. All signs are pointing.
Yo,
I see them eating chicken and waffles every day. I'm like, man,
how you want that breakfast smothered and strapped? What? No, Sir Minty, no.
Sate. It's Sate. Sate Tali, or it's pronounced Sate.
My bad. You actually told me I got that right once, and then I messed up. So
a couple months ago. So,
Tali.
yeah, thanks for correcting it. Please, if we ever say your name wrong, please correct us.
If I say your name wrong, correct.
Yeah, Shaxa said ATL fans are the worst because they think attendance records are something that matters. LOL. Okay.
Buffalo Smith said, "Who are we grooming to replace weird word to replace Guzan because he got to go?" That's a good question.
Yeah, they lost Alec Khan, who you would think would have been the next up. But I don't know. I don't think
can you replace Brad Guzan because
he's not done yet.
When you bring in a guy like Brad Guzan, you kind of got to let him go until he says he's done. No?
I agree. Yeah, I think he's earned that to some. He's like, he was the number 2 to Tim Howard essentially, and he hasn't had the same career as Tim Howard, but. He as far as
Aston Villa,
U.S. men's national team kind of not steward, but like just someone who
stalwart,
right? Is that the word? Like just someone
who's always been around.
Yeah, he's done the job and he's earned a lot of respect. So I don't think he's necessarily the problem at Atlanta. I want to move on because we've been talking about Atlanta for a long time. I want to talk a little bit about El Tráfico. LA Galaxy against LAFC. This was a huge.
You know what shocked me the most? How well Chicharito and Vela got along during the coin toss.
Why do you think they I've never heard that they dislike each other.
No, never either.
Yeah,
but there was something. There was a feeling of both of these players have something to prove. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of added weight with each of them sort of maybe getting a chance at the Mexican national team, maybe Chicharito having a little bit more of that buzz, but both of these players sort of being considered, maybe we should look at them if you're a Mexican national team fan. The added weight of new manager for LAFC, the fan bases were kind of going at each other, all in our homie Andrew Medina's Twitter. So much was weighted on this, and then it starts off with both of them just like giggling with each other over the coin toss. It was a bit of a surprise.
It was cute.
It was nice.
And I think we need this is the first time that they actually played against each other because
crazy.
Every single time they for every other Tráfico, since they've both been in the league, one of them has either been injured.
Yeah, they've been Joseph Martinez.
Okay, right. If you want to do that. I mean, I can't tell you what to say. But so look, this game ended 2-1. Chicharito getting the first goal. Grancier sent in that first ball. I think he got 2 assists in this game. He was incredible. And really just set them up perfectly. I'm more concerned that LA Galaxy they get a lead. They still have somewhat defensive issues.
They leak goals.
Yeah, I mean they're not. It's gotten better, but the fact that they lost some energy at home in the second half was a little odd to me, and it really did feel throughout that entire second half like, oh, LAFC's they're gonna tie this game. They're gonna, or could at least possibly win. Carlos Vela hits the post on, could have been just a tap in. I'm sure he 100% regrets missing that. But look, Galaxy they did enough. But obviously the controversy was at the end of the game. Blessing scores the tying goal.
Or did he?
Or did he? Well, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
VAR's like, well, if we're gonna go by the rules.
But this was a proper offside.
Yo, VAR hates vibes, dude. We need a vibes assistant referee,
it just
bro.
feels like every single time, every at Tráfico, there's just always a mess. Just it's just always something problematic, chaotic, or
something dumb wild happens at every El Tráfico, and this is no different.
Yeah, so if you didn't see the play, obviously, I forgot who sent the cross in, but who the person ahead of the ball, who eventually got the ball, was Mamadou Fall, who has an interesting story. Who he doesn't wear his name on his back. Do you know his story?
No.
Mamadou Fall. I think he's a center back, or midfielder. I forgot where he plays, but he wears Mbake, M-B-A-C-K-E, I believe is on the name on his back, and that's apparently his father's name or uncle's name. But he wears I believe it's his father. He wears his father's name because his father told him he'll never make it as a professional player. And he says, if I make it, I'm gonna wear your name on the back to show you.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Which is kind of wild.
It's like, why does Alexis have pendejo written on the back of his shirt? It's to honor his father.
Okay. People show respect in different cultures in different ways.
I'm trying to show the least amount as possible.
So he is in an offside position, but clearly the ball touches like three people before it gets to him.
But didn't VAR had to release the full explanation. They even released the audio of the VAR because they were like, we don't want that smoke. We know some of y'all are Dodger fans.
Bro, it's like the 96th minute. It's a huge moment.
Even if they didn't call the offside on the player, which was offside, who wasn't the one who was the ball was aimed at, is that there was another offside after that.
Right.
So they were like, there were two.
They were like, yo, we were going to call one of them. Don't be mad at us.
But also watching it, hearing the rule, you're like, I get it, but come on.
No, I think that the confusion was that I don't know if Blessing initially touched it, but there was a Galaxy player, Depew, who touched the ball.
Right.
But he went for the ball, but he didn't pass it back to a player that wasn't in an offside position. You know what I mean? He just went for the ball like a natural motion, didn't clear it. It got to Mamadou Fall, who was already in an offside position. So regardless of how many people it touched.
Right. Even if they didn't call the first one, they were like, all right, we'll let the vibes go. There's another.
Right.
But the fact that they had to release, like, look, here's the audio of the VAR people speaking. Yeah. I mean, that is one step closer to what we should have, which is what the Australian League has, which is on the broadcast, you hear the ref communicating with the VAR person.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that transparency right.
The Premier League needs this because, all hell breaks loose every time VAR is used. And most of the time it's Arsenal fans. So, I'm with you. But this was one of those situations where like, okay, look, we know y'all going to go crazy.
Joe Willock just said, Alexis' shirt just has a question mark on the back for your father.
Is this Papa with a question mark? But the number 69, though, you feel me?
My God. John Coltrane said, the rules are the rules until they aren't, right? Yeah, because then if you saw the, pro referees, they put out that descriptive video, and then the second offside was Latif Blessing, because he was also in an offside position when he got the ball. So they really were, holding themselves at least accountable, and also letting everybody know, like, yo, don't flip out, don't lose your mind. But you feel bad for LAFC fans who, they've had the heartbreak of Zlatan's first game. But obviously they got revenge in the playoffs. There were a lot of LAFC fans at that game. I don't know if you saw videos at Dignity Health Sports Park. I mean, I don't know how many tickets they had for the away supporters, but it was a lot, bro.
It was a really difficult ticket to get.
Yeah.
The one thing about El Tráfico is it rises to the top of the LA what's going on, which is difficult to do in a city like Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it is kind of exciting when we were there for the playoff game, the playoff at Tráfico. I mean, there's a little bit like, yo, we were lucky to be there, man. Like, there's not. So. It was a difficult ticket to come by. There were, you start seeing celebrities.
We almost got arrested because people were faking
Right. Faking press passes and stuff like that. So it's the real deal, man. And
I almost like the fact that it ended this way because that means the next match is going to be even crazier.
I agree. I don't know if we. Does it really? I mean, it's setting the bar every time for insanity. The one thing I'm happy about is that, to my knowledge, there were no incidents or fights or anything.
Oh,
because
no, I think there were fights.
Oh, were there?
Yeah, I think there were, but I don't think it was crazy.
Okay. I mean, look, as minimal as possible.
Some people got to catch hands. You know what I mean?
LAFC fans, LA Galaxy fans, I mean, they've been through it enough, and we want to see. I think both teams put out a statement even before the game that they were trying to make this as safe an environment as possible.
Yeah,
so.
because also don't forget, it's like it was also a family-friendly rivalry. So 30 to 152 people screaming, can intimidate a lot of people, and then you got the riot and all that stuff on the other side. So it's a pretty wild one, and it's Los Angeles. It's the city's too hot. Tempers flare.
I love how Alexis is trying to justify this.
I love what Tali said. Could an NFL type of explanation of fouls called over the stadium speakers from the field ref help or worse than the American game? It's an absolute great question. Kind of like in the NBA. When they go to the TV and they come back and they're like, the reason we're calling the foul is because we were paid extra on it.
Have you seen that clip going around of what was it the
ref looking at the lady as he walks?
No. The ref that got in trouble for bribe or taking money. He was like gambling on.
Oh,
game.
talking about the Allen Iverson thing.
Yeah. I saw
that was great.
Where he was just simply he told Allen Iverson that I'm going to start calling.
No, he didn't. He told
all
the
refs
agreed to call travel because palming because he would palm the ball so much. So he goes, we all took turns calling it, and then about midway through the second quarter, Allen Iverson comes over to me and goes, "How long is this going to go on, man?" And he kind of smirked and he goes, "And we knew, and he knew, that why we were doing this because apparently he either badmouthed the ref." Or got physical with the ref the match before and didn't get suspended for it.
Yeah, he only got fined, and
Which
they
I
were
like that.
But he was also
I like when a union decides we're not working today.
But he was using that to affect the result of the game,
which
and
is
then
intelligent investing.
Then he told gamblers "Yo, you need to not bet on the Nuggets because that's when it was happening when he was playing the Nuggets." And the dude got caught, and he got in a huge trouble.
He got in a lot of trouble. But I honestly, if I was the commissioner, you wouldn't have been in trouble with me. I would have been like, all right, smart. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
And Ice Cold Brew said, nah, just let us hear the convo from the booth for viewing the play. Meaning from the announcers, like the regular broadcasters, or you want to actually hear the referee? I assume it does not want to hear the referee.
The most frustrating thing, I think, for fans is not knowing why. So if that is relieved somehow... Post-not calamity. If that's relieved somehow and they explain to you what the rules are, what caused it, I think the fans would be a little bit more, a little less apt to. They'll still go nuts and they'll still be upset, but they'll be a little less. There'll be less wonderment as to what happened, and I think that's what causes a lot of the frustration. But that's a great question, Tali. Thank you so much. So we should keep our football like Europe and the rest of the world, says Theo Nero. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We can advance the game. If it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be 3 substitutions. That's an American invention.
Okay. Yeah, Alexis always loves to bring this up. Very proud of this. But the other thing, I wanted to bring this up real quick. I didn't want to forget it. I saw this Pablo Maurer, the homie.
Right. He did a big story about that over-sexualized photo shoot that the men's national team did in 2010.
Right, where Landon Donovan was taking a photo drinking from a water fountain.
Sexually letting the water hit his bottom lip.
Okay, speaking of post-nut calamity.
Damn, bro. But somebody recently took a picture. We were at that stadium without knowing the water fountain was there.
Right.
That Cary, North Carolina, where the NWSL championship had been held the year before COVID, we were there. Somebody recently took a picture and said, "Oh no, everyone. That water fountain is gone."
Mm-hmm.
And so is the plaque that, what's his name, Pablo Maurer put on it.
Yeah.
Pablo Maurer just tweeted that, nope, guys,
we found
don't worry about it. It's safe.
So
he has possession of it.
I don't know if he has possession of it.
He does.
It is located in somebody in the town has it, and it's like in storage. The town of Cary. He said, I've been in touch with the town of Cary, and we're going to figure out something out for this thing.
No, he says, look up.
What if I told
scroll down?
Okay.
No, what are you doing? Go back to his tweet.
Okay.
He says, what if I told you that the Landon Donovan is safe and sound? I've been in touch. He got it from the city.
So he actually has. I'm not reading this saying that he actually has it.
He has control of it. He knows what's happening to it.
Okay.
And it says it's either going to go into the Hall of Fame or it's going to be either put into the Hall of Fame as an exhibit or it's going to go into their permanent storage.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Dude.
I mean, this is the work that historians will later in future generations will appreciate a man like Pablo Maurer for preserving important historical items such as this.
When we look at the history of football, soccer, if you will, since we're talking about the American game, but if you look at the history of football in Europe, right, these teams started in the 1800s. You got things like Liverpool still have like the Shankly Gates or whatever they're called, right? You know, Everton has those gates, right, that we stood in front of and did that video. You got these clubs that are like littered with history. For us, what's more historic than a water fountain where a guy took a really sexy photo?
Correct.
Huh?
Pretty. Look, we all need those moments in history that we attach ourselves to. This is one of them, bro.
This is a part of American soccer history.
Okay.
And honestly, I think Europeans would laugh at us for Sir Minty. You're just not. You don't know how to have a good time.
You don't get it.
When I see Sir Minty, when I see this water fountain, you know what I think to myself? Fight and win.
Okay. 3 words that I will be tattooing on my body. Right. Okay.
Come on, Seattle. That's what I think. By the way, I hope you lose in this.
So pretty incredible stuff, man. I hope it all works out, and it'd be cool to see it at the Hall of Fame. It'd be such a. It'd be the.
You should be able to drink from it and take a picture in a sexy way.
For real, dude. We can go there, be open chest,
bro,
by the fountain,
my chest hair sticking out.
Let's go. Let us do it, bro.
Bro, just letting that water gracefully touch my bottom lip.
You know you want to see it,
Damn.
Okay? All right.
I'm about to have a post-nut calamity thinking about it, bro.
I know pornography is not supposed to go on Patreon, but
it's our history, dude.
Why are you trying to erase our culture?
Wow. This is the erasure that people have warned us about for years.
Oh, my God. Voluminous said, Pablo gets it. Yeah. For real.
They should put that next to Beck's urinal and Chris Armis's gat.
I don't know what that means. Please explain.
You need to elaborate, bro.
Because right now, this just sounds like it's incriminating.
I need to know what happened at that urinal, and I need to know what's going on with that gat. Caleb Porter would want you to tattoo it on your neck, Christian.
The fight and win? I assume that's what that means.
But this is the second neck tattooed comment. Andrew Johnson has left. What did Caleb Porter say about neck tattoos?
I have no idea. Please let us know.
Please update us.
Is he against neck tattoos?
Carl Schutz said, I've gone blind. I do like what Joe Woodlock said, going back to the VAR thing. Joe Woodlock said, VAR should have a 1-minute timer, and if you can't get the call from then, it stays as to whatever was called on the field.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's just like...
Oh, you mean because Arsenal, they took 4 minutes to figure out a clear and obvious...
Yeah, I mean, look, but once it gets
theft of a goal,
once it takes longer than let's say 2 minutes, it feels weird to reverse the call that was made on the field, right? It's just like, well, how long should it take to decide if something is clear and obvious?
You know what they should do? Remember those things that were like, and it was like, they should have one of those.
That's a Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. When Jack pops out the box, call stays. How long is that? What is it? About 10 seconds?
I don't know if there's a standard time limit for a Jack in the Box.
I think some of her.
I'll be honest. I haven't played with the Jack in the Box in about 75 years, so I don't really recall.
Well, I happen to have brought mine. I bring it everywhere, and let me tell you something. It is not a doll that pops out of that box.
Okay, so Andrew Johnson said Miguel Berry is too pretty and he needs a neck tattoo in order to be a good striker. Oh, that's right. I did. Andrew, I might have seen this from you. Maybe you tweeted this, but about that. I guess Andrew Johnson is the field reporter for the Columbus Crew now.
You mean the Athletics own?
Andrew Johnson. That apparently the reason Miguel Berry is not getting more minutes is maybe because he's not like a dog on the pitch, and
Right.
that strikers
He needs an edge.
should be upset when they don't score goals, and he's not really expressing that enough. So is that a thing? Do you think strikers should have a little bit more attitude than other players on the pitch?
So we've talked about this, right? Strikers and wide receivers, right?
Okay.
In NFL, they have to have that cocky attitude. They have to be the ones that say, like, I don't want to pass. I want you to pass to me and I score. If I have a 20% chance of scoring and you have a 90% chance of scoring, I'm still going to take that 20 because screw you. My job is to get goals. I like that. And I do think there is something to be said about sometimes the American player doesn't always have that kind of attitude because maybe it's coached out of them at lower levels. I'm not necessarily sure. Or maybe it's seen as sort of like rude to be that type of player and not in the team spirit. But you want your striker to be a dick.
See, so this is interesting because there's that line of like, when does it become like
problematic,
emotionally abusive, pushing players too hard?
It should be all those things.
I don't know, because people have been critical of Caleb Porter's coaching style. They say he's like kind of can be a bit of a hard ass.
Okay, but look, you have to play the way your coach wants you to play.
Of course,
your coach a little bit of a dick, buddy. You at least got to pretend.
Okay,
well, dude, play the game wearing sunglasses. You know what I mean? Mush Caleb in the face.
Shadesbury.
How'd he hurt his eye? It's a rough story, dude. Went for a header, forgot he was wearing aviators. But if your coach is a bit of a dick, you gotta be a little bit of a dick. If your coach, remember when what's his name? Who's the dude who won all the championships in Chicago? What's his name with the Bulls?
Michael Jordan?
The coach, dude.
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson, right? He was all namaste, right?
Right.
You gotta do that. You gotta show up and be like,
yeah.
yo, I'm here to fucking meditate with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm here to the whole time. Even if it ain't your thing, because you need to connect with your coach. If your coach a dick, you gotta walk in and be like, just ran over the squirrel. Whatever. I don't know what Caleb's into. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so you see it like as if it was a corporate environment, you just gotta adapt.
You gotta play up to your manager.
Right.
You have to manage your manager. That's something that was told to me a lot coming up in the corporate world.
Right.
You need to manage your manager. If you want the best territory, if you want more sales leads, you've got to play the game. You got to go out and get the drinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With your manager. You need to go out. I don't know. You got to, what you got to do? You ever see those jet skis that have the wheels on them? People turn like scooters into jet skis into scooters. You got to show up in one of those. And Caleb be like, this guy gets it, dude.
You're the son I never had.
Wow. I'm sorry, Michael Radberry.
Look, it's an interesting thing. I hope it. We've had go listen to our Miguel Berry interview. We did it a couple months ago. A great kid. I obviously hope for the best and hopefully gets more minutes.
Oh,
and
Andrew
gets a bunch of
Johnson
goals.
saying wrong. Andrew Johnson.
Is another Andrew Johnson?
Oh my God.
We have two people who
I
cover.
thought Andrew Johnson was in jail for flirting with minors. Wait, who's that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, he cleared up. It's the wrong Andrew Johnson. So.
Wait, isn't that the...
Joe Whitlock said ABC, always beat Caleb.
Isn't that the dude in England? Wasn't there an English player named Andrew Johnson, I think?
Yeah, wasn't he the one? I think he was the one who was grooming.
Yeah.
He was grooming young girls.
No. Well, I hope that's not you in the chat.
No, it's clearly not. Shouts to the real Andrew Johnson who's here. But, if you're Caleb, if you play for Caleb Porter, you got to show up and be like, yo, did you see that new Dane Cook special? You know what I mean?
Caleb is a guy who likes Dane Cook.
100%.
He is still listening to the classics.
Dude. Says it how it is, dude.
Why is Caleb doing Sufi?
Yeah.
Damn, Caleb, you still remember?
We're going to have to blur that out, dude. Bro.
Okay.
Pop the collar on your leather jacket on the way to work.
I like this question from Omar Ramirez. He said, should Gabriel Slonina move to Europe this summer like it's rumored? And do you think it will be enough to make the World Cup roster? So Gabriel Slonina, obviously
super young, incredible goalkeeper, Chicago Fire.
Right. And a big reason why they were undefeated for as long as they were. They already put up a bunch of clean sheets. I think I saw this from somebody at MLS. I believe David Goss
Crimson Pizza to put Pele Extreme with the X as the first letter. That's Caleb, dude.
That Gabriel Slonina, that one of his goals for in MLS is that he wants to get the most clean sheets in a season.
Yeah. He's a Caleb Porter guy. He talks big.
Okay,
He tells you what he wants.
I think he's 18.
Yeah. He says it how it is, dude.
Why do you love Dane Cook so much? You're 18. So
You're a kid, dude.
But apparently he
Takes pictures with his tongue out.
the clean sheet record, I believe, is something like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's something like 16 in a season or 15, and he already has 5 and there's only been like 8 or 9 games this season. So I feel like, barring any injury or something, he's probably breaking this record. And he is. It's interesting because when he's
they're also pretty good defensively outside of this weekend.
Right. Look, they gave up. They only gave up 1 goal, and it was because they got a second yellow, and they got a player sent off, and that was already controversial in itself. But and they only gave up 1 goal with 10 players against Orlando, which is pretty impressive.
When Shaka does it.
So so he's probably gonna break this record. But it's interesting because last year, when he started playing for Chicago, everybody's talking about him. I'm like, oh, this kid is a phenom.
Right.
And I'm like, it's a goalkeeper. He's a kid. There's no way he has
cares?
the mental fortitude.
Dude, goalkeepers don't matter until you're like 30.
Okay.
And then this kid shows up and does the air guitar, and Caleb's like, I think you're wrong about this guy.
this guy has something about it.
Is that a neck tattoo I see?
But when it's really when he played against NYCFC, there was a game at Yankee Stadium. I think it was a either Chicago won or it was a draw. I think we were at this game last year, and I was like, the fact that NYCFC at Yankee Stadium can make goalkeepers look bad. They can make teams.
It's a short pitch. It's very difficult to be a goalkeeper.
They can make teams look. It's embarrassing sometimes. We've seen it happen to teams like we saw what happened to Montreal. We've seen it happen to DC United.
Yeah.
Bill Hamid. Like we've seen it. And this kid was like, yo, what the hell is this kid doing? Why is he stopping everything? Why is this team so compact and figuring things out and not really making?
They're just a better defensive team now, though, too.
They are, and but even last year when they were a poor defensive team, they still had an unbelievable goalkeeper making some incredible saves, and he is the real deal. If you have not seen this kid play, Chicago, they have something I think special, and it would almost suck a little bit to lose him because I think if they get rid of him this season, and answering Omar's question, if they get rid of him, because the rumor was he was going to go to Chelsea, that it was like there was a verbal agreement,
right? And
obviously Abramovich was like,
so maybe he'll go to Valencia. You heard Abramovich wants to buy Valencia?
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah, he said he's ready to buy Valencia.
Wow. I mean, they can't allow that, right? They wouldn't allow that.
Maybe it's the poisoning. I got to him.
But if he did leave, I think
Joe Whitlock said Donnarumma was starting for Milan and Italy at 18.
Yeah, but he's also 9 feet tall.
He's also a monstrosity. He's a statue come to life.
And Slonina is also a very big
I think
big
he's like
kid.
6'2", right? 6'3"?
I think he's taller. What's his height? Yeah.
How many Mahrez's is he?
Saint Tali says there's depth in the goalkeeper position.
He's 6'4".
Yeah, he's tall. He's tall. We saw him at Yankee Stadium. He has a very, very bright future. I would love if they did the thing that they did with Matt Turner. Or similar to Matt Turner, where Matt Turner he signed with Arsenal, but
they're loaning him
back until he's going in the summer. He's going at the beginning of next season. And I would love to see that. I would love to see him. I would love to see Slonina finish out the season with the Fire, because I think I would love to see him in the playoffs. I would love to see.
Do you think this is too early for him? Here's the thing: if he goes to a European club, he's probably not going to start at this young age.
No,
right?
Not.
Anything
can happen. Anything can happen. Depends on the team.
He's 17 years old.
Yeah, it's a kid.
Anything could happen, but he's 17.
Right.
He's probably not going to start. Wouldn't it make sense for them to then loan him out to a league where a lot of shots are on goal and he can develop, such as MLS? So why not just stay here for another 2-3 years?
I don't think that would be a bad move for his career.
If he goes to Europe at 21, 22 years old as a goalkeeper, he's fine.
Right, but look.
That's not late for a goalkeeper. That's late for a striker.
Right, yeah. But you wouldn't knock him taking the opportunity now and learning everything he
But where's he going to go? He's going to go like Michelin or, Ferencváros.
No, but if he's getting interest from Chelsea and maybe that doesn't work out, he can probably fit in the Premier League. I think pretty
starting.
He ain't starting, but you never know.
Do you want him as a backup?
Look, also, I'll say this because
you know what? Say it, dude. Because what would Caleb Porter do?
He's 17 years old, starting in Major League Soccer, bro. That's a huge deal. And I would, yes, is the level
at 17? MLS is like Europe at 24. As far as like you've made a major accomplishment.
Sure, yeah, but from
they're comparable.
From a accomplishment level, yes. But I'm just talking about could he at 17 years old play in a Premier League match and do well and succeed? I think so. That's what I'm saying.
Will he be given that opportunity? No. He'll probably be sent to the championship. He'll be on loan at Middlesbrough.
But he's taking the spot. Who was at Chicago before? Was it? It wasn't Yarbrough. I forgot who was there before. I mean, they've had a couple, a bunch of goalkeepers come through, and I don't know who's there now. Who's the number 2 to Slonina?
Dominic said selfishly as a Fire fan, I would love if you matured for a few years here.
Yeah,
I say get the bag when you can, says Andrew John. Which Andrew Johnson? No. 21 is early for a goalkeeper. 27 and 29 is where goalkeepers start to peak, says John Carl Tritt. Which is why I think it may. I mean, it's hard to say it's a mistake to go to Europe. It feels dumb to say that.
Yeah.
But it may be that this team gets the rights to you, like a Chelsea or whoever.
Yeah.
But then you have an agreement to stay in MLS for a few years.
Maybe. And I think, again, I don't think there's
2026 World Cup. We're talking about Slonina.
Slonina is, there's a huge like potential here for him to be the start 2026 being the starting goalkeeper.
They had Shuttleworth,
Bobby Shuttleworth, and who I don't know if he's still there, but I think he moved on. But Slonina could be the starting goalkeeper in the 2026 World Cup. That's like a possibility.
Absolutely. And how old will he be? In 4 years, he'll be 23.
Yeah,
crazy.
Which would be crazy. And so we'll see where.
Well, he'll be. Yeah.
Zach Steffen and Matt Turner. Yeah, you would assume that one
21.
of them,
17.
Right. Okay, we have remedial math. What happened? Pele remedial math happened yesterday.
So young.
So, look, the upside is just huge for him. So, and after seeing him play a couple times, I'm just like, yo, again, 100%. The real deal. If he went to Chelsea, let's say, if he was at a Premier League team and gets minutes before, let's say, Matt Turner, at the very least, in 2026, the 3 keepers on the roster I could envision are Steffen, Turner, and Slonina. And Ethan Horvath would be
100%. 100% could see that.
Okay. And Ice Cold Brew said would have been Ochoa versus Slonina for 2026 if he didn't switch. Meaning Ochoa from RSL.
Right. Ochoa was also got a nice attitude on him. He does a lot of
Caleb Porter is a huge fan.
yeah. Caleb Porter's like, this kid gets it. Okay. Hold on, I'm getting a text.
And this dude, Minnesota's coach, what am I forgetting? Inchi. What am I forgetting his name? The Minnesota coach.
Heath.
Yes, Adrian Heath. Not a fan of Ochoa. He doesn't.
No. I do want to bring this up because I saw this on MLSsoccer.com. It said, we cracked the code. How MLS player development is meeting the world's best. Okay. So MLSsoccer.com does this every once in a while. They're like, hey, here's some branded content. You know? Okay. Yeah, we're not going to tell you it's branded content. But I do think Fred Lipka, Vice President of Player Youth and Development, explained on MLS Today's show why today's youth players from the United States and Canada are at a different level than before. So he said, before, we were very much the same kind of player. We were very physical, running, very hard worker, very dedicated to the game, but not really technical and not really a fast thinker. Now we're a large spectrum of players that can be physical, always dedicated to the game, good culture of effort, But now we have players that we can find in Europe, and we can find in Argentina, and we can find in Brazil. I would say almost the same level of talent, right? And he said talent is soccer IQ, the capacity to understand and receive the cues of the game, to understand, to process information, and to then execute. People almost always see the execution piece, but don't see what happens before. So now we have kids that don't play with one key. They can anticipate because they know what to look at, what tempos they have to use. Sometimes you have to use one additional touch to attract the player to create space. Today we have kids that do that. Maybe it wasn't so the case 7 or 8 years ago. We did a lot of progress, and our coaches and academies did a lot of the progress to teach the game the right way. Is it a little too soon?
To be good at soccer? Wow.
Or is it the right time? Because someone said in the chat before, are we in the golden age of goalkeepers? Dude, is it the right time to sit here and go, hey, we basically got the same talent level as Brazil and all these other places? Does it feel that way? Because I kind of think that's not that braggadocious. I think Caleb Porter would like what this guy's doing. But I think it's pretty in line with what's actually happening. I do think the American player, especially at a youth level, is kind of now, it feels like the Weston McKennies, the Christian Pulisic's, the Tyler Adams, felt like the turn of the corner. But now Brendan Aronson. Now we've got these younger players where you're like, yo, maybe we are that good.
I think the way I sort of see it, and even since we've been doing this show, if the bar is how many Americans are playing in Europe and getting minutes and playing well,
maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not just playing. Mm-hmm. Well, let me let you finish your statement.
Right. So I'm just saying that the progress is clearly there in the fact that we have we were just talking about Slonina and the fact that we have young players that are getting just respect on the global scale. You know, when Joao Cancelo was like the player I hate marking the most is Christian Pulisic. That says a lot about his
right.
development.
These are all like accomplishments that we take.
Little things but even just simply saying that.
But forget about have we developed good players. The point is, are we now at the point where we're developing players as good already as other places? Not just, look, now we're getting minutes in Europe. Are we not looking 10 years from now? Think about where we were 10 years ago. Think about where we were 5 years ago with the players that we had. Mm-hmm. Right? Christian Pulisic was like the only one that was really giving us any hope for the future. And there were other players that were starting to make that move. Now we've got a bunch of players playing in Europe. Sure. But what about these younger kids? What about these 14, 15-year-olds? Are we at that point now where we're like, we just as bad as y'all?
And in this version, Alexis means bad means good.
Yeah.
Okay. So just so so you know, I think there's things to be proud of, and I think there's I wouldn't go that far, but
on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being our youth players are absolutely no different than your Netherlands, than your Brazil, than your Argentina.
So my answer, even before I give you a rating, I would just simply say I think we produce the same. I would say we can produce the same quality players, but we can't produce as many. That's where I see the difference. I think the Netherlands, France, So
you think their median player is better than our median player?
Correct.
If we look at our peaks, we both got the same peaks.
Right.
They've just got
they just have so many more better players.
Their average player is better than our average player, but our bests are the same.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
I'm saying we're better than everybody else.
I agree that you said the thing I said correctly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, shut it down. We're good. Boom. We just shut everything up. A nice cold brew said, our 12 to 14-year-olds are not comparable to big nations, to be honest. Cool. I want to know why you know that. What are you doing, bro? What are you Googling?
But we see these the Youth World Cups and the U20s and U18s. So I wouldn't
we've
say
been bodying for a minute, and that doesn't always translate. And it's because of what a nice cold brew said after that. He said we fall behind in development 15 to 18. But is that over?
But is that gap?
Remember when this was the most important conversation in all of American soccer? It was just like, who are we developing next?
That gap is not as large, and as far as especially when you watch these youth tournaments, the U.S. the one that Timothy Weah was in the U20s a couple years ago. I mean, like, they got pretty far. They believe they lost to France, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But they were competitive in that match. But you see, there it clearly is a gap.
Those players, while playing well at that age, don't always develop into great pros. Some of those players fall through the cracks. More of our players fall through those cracks than before. But that's talking about what happened last time. Timothy Weah is now a full-blown professional.
Right.
Those players are all in their 20s. What about them youth players? Are we really now at that point, or is this just hey, we're a selling league, so we need to promote ourselves this way?
I would say it's a little bit of both, but we've spoken to enough people. A name that comes to mind is somebody like Aleko Eskandarian, who's working
This is his job
with MLS Next and involved in just CONCACAF and kind of just growing the game and teaching coaching at young levels. And it's a long process. It's a big country.
A lot of steps to it.
A lot of steps, but it's you have to say just simply the fact that there are players in the amount of time that we've been doing this show, the amount of players that have gone over to Europe and been to and I say the amount because there's the amount of quality players. If you look 20 years back,
in 2015 when we started,
we had Clint Dempsey, we had Brian McBride, we had a couple here and there.
You had superstars that came out of nowhere in the U.S.
Chirundolo and they were there, they were around, But it's now Americans are sought after, but they're also like.
Well, think about it. When Landon Donovan, our best player, went to Everton, people were like, "Wow, he's actually good."
Right.
And now you've got teams chanting Brendan Aronson's name when he's not even there.
Exactly. So
there's obviously been a shift. I'm wondering if what do the chat think, or if you're listening to this as a podcast episode, let us know what you think. Tweet at us. Do you think we're there? Do you think we've hit that point? Because I'd love to believe we are. What I do believe is that the league is focused on becoming a selling league and developing youth players. And if that's their goal, we're going to be developing a lot of great players.
Yeah. So is that the incentive that we need? Because there's a whole bunch of fucking money at the end of the.
Well, okay. And here's another question. Here's another question. And this is a little inflammatory. Okay. Caleb's going to love this question. If everyone complains because promotion and relegation, if that existed, then every city would have multiple clubs, and they'd be incentivized to go out and develop youth players, to build those players, to develop them for their senior squad, or to sell them so that they have money to continue playing the way it happens in Europe. But if this change happens, if this MLS Next program and these things create a system by which we develop players that are as good and become sort of a football factory, if you will, as a nation, then in a way, is that not good enough? Then did MLS not come good? Just like that lady before the party.
I think you mean come well.
No. Wow. Did MLS come lows? No. Did MLS come good?
I think the thing that you can provide, I think the best thing that you can provide to the younger generation is a pathway to success. I think if you want the sport to grow, young people need to see examples of successful pathways for themselves that they are people that they can admire. I think it can shape communities. It's like when somebody from the hood makes it to the NBA or really successul in college or whatever. Right. Everybody, New York is a weird example because it's like somebody could be wildly famous on one block and then the next block nobody
know you.
Who's the dude? Nah.
You ain't gonna discount at this bodega. Nah, you gotta go to the other one, man.
But there's things like that where if you're in a small town anywhere in the world and somebody makes it out and gets to play for a professional team, the whole community it can gather support just for that club.
Right,
and
it also inspires the next generation.
So I think however that happens, whether there's a pot of gold at the end and there's incentive to do that from MLS. I think that is the overall effect that you want. You want people to be excited about the club in your city.
Bay Area Guna says, shit gets deep when Alexis uses his Brian Gumble voice. I didn't know I had one. That's great. Americans do have a general high ceiling with a low cost compared to what you'd expect playing for a South American or paying for a South American or Mexican player. Yeah, there is still that America discount that people pay. because they are football. Says Pro and Rel, Pele trigger. Hilarious. No number 10 or number 9 striker is the hardest position to create, and the U.S. still lack this. That's a great point.
Yeah.
We aren't building the Lewandowskis. We aren't building the Wesley Snyders, even though he looks like me now. We're not building the Riquelme, which is, a name that I brought up before as a joke. We aren't building those players that are like creative geniuses. And I think the majority is because that's built outside of an academy.
Yeah. You guys.
That's built on the
That's
street.
on the street. Yeah, bro. Football.
Also, players, man, MLS players or just American soccer players in general, we ain't swaggy enough, bro.
We're getting there. Little by little.
You ain't going to inspire the youth unless you swaggy as hell. We got to be wearing heat at all times. Best sneaker collection is a dude named Jim Curtin. He got it. Did you see the Instagram account, Jim Curtin Sneakers?
Yes, you brought this up last week.
It's great. They put their first post up.
Okay, everybody go follow.
I don't know who they are. People think it's me. It's not me. I don't have that much time to dedicate to it.
Okay, we got to wrap up.
No, but I want to say, the American soccer player needs to become swaggier, bro.
Barraguna
we need more Kellen Acostas.
Barraguna said, we don't even have a Shamak.
Bro, I mean,
facts.
Look how delayed we are in development, bro.
Okay, I want to wrap up with this because I saw this on TikTok earlier.
I don't even know what this is.
Earlier today. Alexis has not seen it, but this is, do you know Radel Ortiz? He's a Dominican dude, he was popular like on I think Vine even years ago.
I know him from this stuff.
Yeah, so he's popular on TikTok. I wonder if I can make this full screen. I may not be able to. Okay, here it goes.
Come on.
So he's having pizza. Let me make sure everybody can hear this. Yeah, you should be able to hear it. So he's having pizza. He ordered pizza with his family, and he has this is his sister's TikTok account, Lisbel Ortiz. And so here is how he's eating pizza. I just wanted to get your reaction to this.
Pizza
already, this pizza's
Bro,
trash.
they're portable already.
Look how pale that
Can
crust
you
is.
have that?
How you if a crackhead is chasing you? How you gonna take that with you? The cheese.
So he's saying that the pizza's not
Why would
portable.
that
It's
be
too
happening, bro?
floppy.
Look,
That's what he's complaining about.
Oh, God.
Take it
I
to
saw
the
this.
Roly poly oly.
First of all, this is clear. This
Now
is
it's
staged.
portable.
This is done for TV. Or for this.
So it's
First of all, if you do that, like a burrito that the other end isn't covered, everyone's just going to slide out one end. But I can't even, I wish I had
He
a piece
just
of
barrel
paper.
rolled. He just barrel rolled because you're saying that it doesn't fall apart.
All right, hold this mic.
Okay, I don't know what Alexis is doing.
Come on.
So you never put
right.
a pizza portable.
Bro, they're portable.
All right.
I'm here to show you. This is what he's talking about, right?
Right.
He's talking about the pizzas doing this. Look. There was a mathematician by the name of Gauss that lived a long time ago. And
I also did not expect mathematicians to come
he
up.
created the Gaussian theory, which is when you bend something that is like this. When you put a bend in it, it creates structural rigidity. That's what happens to a slice when you fold it. Right? The only time this doesn't happen is if it was badly baked and there's like creasing where it's softened, or if there's pooling of sauce or moisture that creates a lack of structure in general. So you'll get like what happens when the tip folds like that, right? When it breaks. But typically, if you fold the slice, and the reason why New Yorkers fold it is because we walk, right? Look, if this piece of paper is flat, look what's happening to it. If I were to fold it, it creates that structural rigidity from that crease. And now you're eating and you're fine. Everything's fine. Look, it's a piece of paper. Look at this. I'm holding with one hand. Look at this. No, officer, I don't know who that is. You know, right? Right? You ain't even got a snitch, bro. You eating, you moving about. What are we talking about? These stupid people that make all these stupid things. Like I said to my buddy and his girl came up, and I was like, "Yeah, fold the pizza." I mean, they were like, I'm like, where did you, is it not instinctual? Is it not instinctual to pick it up and just kind of fold the ends? Is it not instinctual? It's instinctual to me.
I don't know if it's instinct. It's just all I've ever known.
It's the way to eat it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you folded it in the plate, and then you made a little fold in the back of the little crease in the back of the plate so that you wouldn't get any grease on you.
I love this. PFC Manor said, Lexi, I was going to say DeGrease Tyson, but it's DeGrasse Tyson. DeGrease Tyson would be great.
It's so much better.
Pele Bill Nye.
Hey, look it up. The same guy who created the Gaussian blur that it's named after.
Oh, okay. That I know.
Gauss.
Yeah.
The Gaussian is structural rigidity, the Gaussian theory.
Okay. I didn't. Wow, Alexis, for somebody who has gout, you know a lot about gout.
I thought it was my dad at first. So what's that pain in my toe, dog?
John Carter said, "Is food involved?" Alexis joins Mensa. And Ice Cold Bruce said, "LMAO, the Brian Gumble voice when Alexis explained pizza physics."
Pele Pizzas, says Andrew Johnson. New segment, Science with Alexis. Not a bad one, Michael Raymond. Look, I'm telling you, there's a reason we do things. No one just folds pizza for the F of it. It was created for a reason. We walk with our pizza. We're late for everything. You know, we got to walk to the next train station because maybe this one's closed, or we got to go take the bus. We fold, right? Kids after school, right? We're just walking, we're bullshitting, we're slapping each other in the nuts. You're not dropping your pizza.
Okay, we can multitask out here. All right.
People eating pizza with two hands. Something's wrong with you. And I hate it in commercials. They hold the pizza flat like this, and with their second hand, they're like, "Look at me eating pizza." You look like an idiot, bruh.
Damn,
Fold it.
dude. It's just like, what, your pizza got erectile dysfunction or something?
Damn, son. Actually, it's too stiff, my G. You gotta fold it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much again for joining us.
DJ31 just put the mind explosion emoji. Y'all didn't know I knew that, huh?
Yeah.
Y'all thought this was just fat boy stuff?
Also, just a reminder, we have, if you join Patreon, if you get onto the Slack channel, we have a pizza.
I haven't been in there in a minute. I gotta start
Alexis
rating some of these pizzas.
will rate your pizza. Anywhere in the world that you are, send them a picture of it.
I think it's called Roast My Pizza, right?
I think it's Rate My Pizza, if I'm not mistaken.
It should be Roast My Pizza because that's kind of what I do.
It is called, what is it? Rate My Pizza. Yeah, Rate My Pizza.
Rate My Pizza. It should be called Roast My Pizza.
So if you take a picture of your the top of the pizza and the bottom of the pizza.
Yeah, you got to show me the crust, which is like the crumb shot, which is where it's been sliced.
The crumb
the
shot.
Bottom.
Okay,
the bottom. I need to see that bottom. You feel me? So I know how it's baked, and I just want to see like an overall picture of the pizza, and I could rate your pizza. Del Boy said you guys better not go to England because no one eats it that way here. No one's eating pizza in England. It is pretty horrific.
Right.
But
Avoid
I've
it.
eaten a slice, and you know what I did? I folded it, and I looked at everyone in the eye because I wanted y'all to see how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. He folded his pizza, said it's called soccer. Deal with it.
Yo, we here now. America, America, I fold my slice for thee and crown thy food because it's so good. We shit on these English. It didn't rhyme at the end, but you got
Bars.
it. And that's why we're going to beat you in the World Cup group. You feel me?
Okay, this is all the hype machine for that World Cup match. Every one of these podcasts.
Go.
So everybody,
And I dare you to look up everything I said because I know it's true.
thank you so much for joining us today here on YouTube Live. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button right now, especially if you are in the chat. Not hitting subscribe. That's ridiculous.
Joe,
insulting.
Alexis look him dead in the eye to show him his structural rigidity.
But seriously, we appreciate everybody hanging out, and I know it's been a difficult day for a lot of people, especially in New York for us.
Yeah, hopefully this lightened your mood up a little bit.
Yeah, for us as well. So obviously, still we have to get home and deal with kind of everything going on. Luckily, like I said at the top of the show, if you got here earlier, I do have a lot of family right around that train station. I have family that live literally right on that block, and it is all pretty scary, but luckily everyone was okay. And seriously, my heart goes out to everybody who was injured. Again, I don't know what the status is of the people that were attacked, but I hope that they are well and that there's no fatalities. So we're gonna look at the news just like everybody else right after this. But seriously, thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully we made you laugh a little bit and take your mind off of this, and you made us laugh. So thank you to everybody in the chat. Seriously, we're very, very grateful. Anything else? Again, shout out to the Stand for welcoming us today. We always great comedy club. Come out here. Also, even if you're not here to see a comedy show, the food is literally unbelievable.
Honestly, get a reservation to eat here.
Yeah,
the food is out of this world. And if there's a couple extra seats, buy a ticket to watch the show.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'll be very happy you did. And they got some nice napkins here. These are the shitty ones.
So, yeah. So I mean, look, we gave you got a nice pizza presentation with that that napkin. So it meant a lot. Yeah, shout out to the Stand. Go follow the Stand at the Stand NYC. Check out the website. If you're ever in New York and want to see a comedy show, come out to the Stand. Seriously, so.
And we got some pretty big announcements coming up for Patreon members. So if you're a Patreon member, look out.
Yeah,
you might be hearing some pretty cool information.
Yeah, you can see the pre-show that we filmed before. It'll be up in just a couple of minutes, but you can see it there on Patreon. So patreon.com/soccercooligans. A lot of fun stuff coming there very, very shortly. So thank you so much for joining and all the support.
You guys are the best.
Seriously, always fun. Mondays and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube Live. And the podcast is available Tuesdays and Wednesday morning. So let people know about the YouTube show, the podcast. Tell a friend,
Please do.
You're our only friends. So we're telling you.
We're going to create a new website called Only Friends. There's not going to be any nudity. It's just going to be
There's going to be emotional nudity, though, okay?
We're exposing it all.
A lot
from
of
up here. You feel
a lot
me?
of vulnerability. Robin Tagini said, do the barrel roll like the dude just did.
Won't be doing
with
that.
the pizza. I would love to see Alexis do any kind of physical activity.
$500 paywall, science with Alexis. I mean, it's mostly going to be food science, but you'll get some. Remember when your girl's a nutritionist? Remember when we first met and talked? She's like, are you a food scientist?
Yeah.
She's like, you know too much about food for someone who's general. I'm like, just an excuse for my high blood pressure.
Alexis was like, what science? The only science I know is Christian Science.
I'm like, no, I'm not. I got food in my mouth.
Okay.
By the way, Andrew Johnson said Domino's cuts their slices too small to fold. That's false. False.
There's no such thing as an unfoldable pizza.
Domino's is structuralized across the whole board. In fact, most of their dough all comes from like 6 different dough centers. Everything is structured. Everything across
Did you know that
board.
there was dough centers, everybody?
Oh, dough centers.
Okay.
And by the way, the shit they're putting in their dough, you should not be eating, by the way.
Kirby D says, Alexis needs a master class. All right.
Oh, master class. Oh, never mind. So we're talking about that post-nut calamity. You feel me? You guys are the best. Thank you so much for everyone who sent us messages or said that to stay safe. Thank you very much. Love this city. We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully they find this guy, and that's the end of it.
All right, everybody.
Love you guys.
Peace.